Hi, everyone. I'm Jeannie Ralston with Next Tribe, and I'm so happy to welcome you to this trip preview of Mongolia. Mongolia has been in my mind for so long, a place I've wanted to go. I once rode horses up in the Tibetan plateau of China, and I just had this sense of what would it be like to have to actually go to Mongolia of all places? It just is one of the most, to me, it's one of the most exotic sounding places. And as I've done more research, it's been confirmed it's exotic. It's like no place else in the world. And I was lucky to find Jess Brooks, who runs a company that does all the logistics and everything in Mongolia. She's been doing it for years. And what I love about Jess, and you will you will hear this from her, but she has a real commitment to supporting the local community. They're a micro business. They're not a huge outfit at all. They know all the people they deal with. We get to meet families throughout the trip and see how they live today, which is so important. Where this isn't a drive-by kind of trip. It's like meeting these people, how they live. And the amazing thing is they live so much like they have for thousands of years. So I am just fascinated by this company, by this country and this company, Eternal Landscapes, which is Jess's company. Jess, hi, thank you for coming.
Hi, good afternoon. I think it is there, or morning. I'm not entirely sure. It's
It,
evening here anyway.
Jess is based in the UK, but she's you've lived how long did you actually live, or do you split your time now, right?
Yeah, so since 2006, I've
Oh
been
my,
based in Mongolia. So I know it. I've seen the changes, and yeah, so May 2006.
wow. And
Yeah,
that's when you started doing tours there, and your company, when did it start?
2011.
Ah,
So 2006, I worked there as a guide for
wow.
4 years, and then 2010 I went back to do research, and then 2011 we started our business in 2010 with our first trip
Fabulous.
in 2011.
And I love that you really prioritize women's empowerment, inclusivity, and community engagement, which I love that. Can you just, before we go, talk about the whole itinerary and so forth? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. um, so when we founded the business, so when I say we, I have my business partner who's called Turu. He's Mongolian, and he was my lead driver when I was a guide. And when we established the business, we realized a couple of things. One, that accommodation was only in the camps, the gear camps, but it was very, very hard to actually make a booking. And the camps were mainly owned by people, business owners from Ulaanbaatar. And also, a lot of people that worked in tourism at that time were men. And it was very hard to find guides to work for us as a newly established company. So we turned it on its head. We decided, okay, we want money to go out into the community, filter out through the community. So we started working with families that had accommodation where they would host international guests. And then we decided that in tourism in Mongolia, tourism drivers are men. Um, but Mongolia actually is very equal when it comes to women. But we thought, well, we have to employ male tourism drivers because a lot of women don't have access to vehicles. So let's counterbalance that, and we'll make sure that all of our guides are women. And we've done that from day one, and that's what we continue to do. So on
I
this
love
trip
that.
itself, you will be accompanied by two of our female team, and then they're supported by our male tourism drivers. And what's lovely is our drivers are older, so they bring the wisdom And then our guides are younger, so they bring more of a modern interpretation of Mongolian society. And then together they work really, really well.
Ah,
On
that's
paper,
beautiful.
they shouldn't work together, but it
They
actually
do.
works really, really well. Yeah. So you don't just you get a mix, experience of Mongolia from different dynamics, not just through the team, but through the families that you meet, and then also some of the projects that you will visit as well.
I love that. Well, let's go through. I've prepared some photos and so forth. So what I'd like to do is go through the itinerary and then save any questions till afterwards, because maybe we will address your questions in as we go through the itinerary, or you can write them in the chat. But let me share, and this is where it's difficult for me because you get to see all my crazy desktop. So the dates we chose, July 25th through August 1st, 4th of next year. And this is we talked about it. This is after there's a big celebration in Mongolia is earlier. So we chose that time to avoid the crowds and the higher prices. So, right, Jess, this is a
Yeah, yeah,
good time to go.
yes. Uh, if you lead it too late, Mongolia has very extreme seasons, and so Mongolians say that Nada autumn starts after Nadam, which happens in early July. So we try not to leave it too late because sometimes it can be a bit too brutal, but also late July usually means a lot of the rain that happens in the summer has also finished.
Oh,
So
okay.
um, you have to be prepared for all seasons. You
Yes.
just embrace. You never know what's going to happen. We have a trip at the moment, and they've had snow and 30-degree heat.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you just we embrace everything.
Fabulous. I love that. Well, we have our oops, excuse me, our travelers are flexible, and especially ones who like the adventure part.
Yeah,
So, um, here I just love this picture. I mean, the people who live on the steppes, they're still herders as they have been for millennia, right?
yeah, absolutely. And although um, you will meet some of the different families we work with, and each one is very different, and you will see that their way of life is still connected with those millennia of traditions and culture, but also they very much adapted to the modern world as well. But you will get a taste for that in a very genuine way, just because they are our long term partners.
Very good. And so we've talked about this quite a bit. I mean, Mongolia is a big country, so to keep us from having to spend too much time traveling on the road, we've tried to concentrate it. We're basically there's Ulaanbaatar, if I'm saying that right, right in the middle. And is the farthest west we go this Testerleg?
Yeah. So you're going. Mongolia is depending what you read, the 18th or 19th largest country in the world. It is vast. But the challenge we have in Mongolia is that the infrastructure is limited. So, although there are domestic flights to different regions, they are often delayed or cancelled. So, what we decided to do, Jeannie and I, was concentrate on an area whereby you get a feeling for Mongolia's size, is way of life. So, also is modern day life as well as the traditions and culture, but also some of the diversity of the landscapes which Mongolia is famous for. So you will have river valleys, sand dunes, you will have um, green rolling steppe, you will have forest steppe as well. And we've tried, so although probably by the end of the trip, everybody will be like, oh my goodness, that was a lot of time in a tour vehicle. Actually, for Mongolia, it is really, really limited. We've really tried to sort of break down where we can the distances.
Yes, so we really worked hard on that. But it's just part of the way of getting around,
Absolutely.
and it if it's a country if you really wanted to see more, it would be just way too much for
Yeah,
for for what I know about my travelers.
yeah, yeah. Especially for the first visit. And
Yes,
so this trip is focused on Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital city, and also then the central heartland. So if you divide Mongolia up into different zones, if you want to research or read, the central heartland is the area you will visit.
yes. So let me go back to that. If it goes back, well, no, I can't go back. Anyway, we'll go back to the map if people have questions about that. Hold on, there we go. So Ulaanbaatar, capital city. Tell us, I mean, it seems like a mix of old and new.
Yes. So it was originally what's called a monastery city. So it used to migrate. The people that lived there migrated with their herds, and they paid taxes to the monasteries. The monasteries were inside Gers. Then it became established, and the city you see today was mainly established under Soviet rule in the 1950s. So it's actually a very old city, but there's not a lot of architecture there to remind you of the old city. Um, Over 50% of Mongolia's population live in Ulaanbaatar. And the first complaint you will make as soon as you land will be uh, you land in the new airport, which is absolutely fabulous. You filter through, you get your bags, the driver's there to meet you. You're on this beautiful expressway, and then you hit the city traffic in Ulaanbaatar, and it will drive you absolutely nuts. But that's because it wasn't built to host 1.5 million people. It was only constructed to host 600,000 people. So once you've got over the challenge of the traffic, the city itself is full of a Mongolian vibrancy. So it's got a very, its Mongolian population is very young. So you have this, and most of them live in Ulaanbaatar. So it has this youth culture to it, but alongside some of Mongolia's oldest buildings. And it's a real, as long as you embrace the frustrations and the challenges, I think most people really enjoy the energy. And it has got an energy to it, the energy of Ulaanbaatar. It
That
means red hero, if
Red
you're wondering.
Hero.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good thing to know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yes, we did see, yes. Um, so after we have some things that we do. We spend a couple days in Ulaanbaatar adjusting, relaxing, getting used to getting over our jet lag, seeing a few things. Then we hit the road, and the first place we go is, and I'm going to massacre these names, but it looks like Congo Khan. How
Quite
do
close. So Hogan Han.
Oh, that's not
Uh,
close.
yeah, but for anybody who's reading about Mongolia, there is no accepted international transliteration of the language. So you will see multiple different spellings for each place name. So
Oh,
don't think that
interesting.
you're going crazy if you see that. It's just that there is no accepted way to translate a Mongolian name into English. But yes, your first stop will be Hoganhan, and it's a sacred granite mountain that rises up out of the steppe and with a series of sand dunes as well. We choose it for the first night. You'll see why. It's a very special place, including Erden Hambin Hid, which is the small temple,
Yes,
which is there.
so beautiful. But here are the sand dunes, which
Yeah,
look like something out of the Sahara, but it's
yes,
or
and the we work with a family, so although you're staying in a camp, you have the option to ride camels there, and the camels are all owned by our partner family, and you will spend time with this family, and they live right next to the dunes. So although where you're staying is at the foot of the mountain,
there's the camels.
yeah, yeah, you also then will get to meet and anybody who doesn't want to ride camels, it's no problem. It won't actually detract from the overall experience as well. So those who want to ride a camel can, but those who don't, you can just stay and hang out with the family while the others ride, or you can walk, or there's lots of flexibility. So
Yeah.
it's not anything that's in the itinerary is very fluid.
And we like that at Next Tribe. We have that. We always like that option of to because people have their own things they want to do or need to rest, or so we like that flexibility. So it seems like I put the camel riding in the wrong spot. So let me go back to this is we were in the sand dunes, and then so we'll have some time on our own. This is a place you could do some hiking. Again, isn't this again, it's more like what you feel like doing, just in
Yeah,
relaxing, enjoying the scenery, beautiful scenery, pristine air, or you can there's hiking, there's looks like there's an art shop.
yeah. There's also so where the where it says afternoon on your own, and on the left, that's the little temple. And
Mm,
there is a walk that the guides can take you on, those that want to. So those that don't want to walk, you can just spend your time here at this small temple. It's very peaceful, very beautiful. Those who don't do want to walk, you can walk up a valley to what was essentially the sister site of this small temple. So in Mongolia, there's a lot of history, and but it's very hard. A lot of it didn't, buildings didn't exist. They were nomadic. They weren't famous for constructing business buildings. But the ones which do exist, a lot of them were destroyed in the 1930s when there were religious and political purges. But a lot of them have been rebuilt, and this is one of them. And you can walk to the ruins of another temple that wasn't rebuilt. A very special place. Um, but Mongolia is all about flexibility because everybody reacts to it differently. And some people find the driving tiring. Some people just find they just want to sit. When they arrive, they decide, actually, I just want to sit here in the peace. Uh, so we build all of that flexibility in. So if some of you say, actually, I don't want to walk, it's not a problem. If some of you want to be active, it's absolutely fine.
I love that. And this is our first camp, and
Yes.
so it is. We call them yurts, but the proper name is a gur. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yes. So Mongolians call them a yurt is exactly the same, means the same thing. It means that circular felt tent. Yurt is the Turkish name and Russian name, and Mongolian name is ger. And it translates into the same thing, which means home. So,
Ah,
yes, it's a ger camp or a yurt camp. And we choose this particular one for its location. Now, tourism in Mongolia is still actually in its very, very early stages, even though, and so also because of the remoteness of the landscapes, not all camps can offer ensuite accommodation.
yeah.
So rather than not going to Hogenham, because it is beautiful, we choose this camp because it is in a lovely, very peaceful location, perfect for the first night, the first night out of Ulaanbaatar. But some of you may be asking about so the gears are very comfortable. The toilets and the showers are also very, very well kept. But the problem is they're not en suite. But I don't think you should let that detract from the overall experience. It's just the reality of Mongolia, really.
And
But
and I think we talked about it. There's really only 4 nights that you would have the bathrooms that aren't en suite. So
exactly.
yeah,
And
so it's not.
we've done it also so that they're not all in one go. And we've chosen accommodation that is comfortable, and there are ways around it. We don't need to discuss it here, but if you know that you need to get up 3 or 4 times a night to have a pee, we can provide a potty, or there are many ways around it. We're very creative in our thinking. So I
Oh,
would
that's
say just don't let it stress you too
yeah.
much.
Thank you. That's good. That's good to know. And here's the you were talking about this place, weren't you?
Oh, Tsetselek,
That what?
the town.
Yeah, is this the, yes, is this where, am I, do I have this out of place?
No, no.
Okay.
Setzeleg is where you will stay in the hotel. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's this is called Arhangai province, and it's called the Switzerland of Mongolia. So
Ooh.
here you're going to start getting more forest steppe. And here you will stay in a very comfortable hotel for 2 nights in ensuite rooms. Very new hotel, very, very comfortable. But this, you can see in the picture, the gers amongst their fences, this is how Mongolians typically live. Um, but the town, so you will get to experience all of this. And then from here, you then travel out to, no, you have 1 night here, don't you? 1 night in the town, and then you drive to the hot springs. That's right.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah,
We broke it up. This is
yeah.
the only time we spend only one night um in a place. I like to spend more than one night whenever we can, but this is for breaking up the drive. We did that. And this is a like a very interesting town, isn't it? I mean, this is the like
Yeah.
you see the
So
water.
this Mongolia was basically governed by monasteries
Mm.
prior to the prior to Russian rule, and so in the up until the 1920s, and this image is of what was one of Mongolia's largest monasteries. It's now the museum of
Oh,
this province, and it's a lovely, gentle experience. So we include it because it gives you a night in a room rather than in just in a ger. You're actually in a hotel room, so it's just a little bit of chance just to, have your shower right there with you and everything like that, but also to experience a town in Mongolia because that's also a lot of the population live in these small provincial towns. And so
right.
we like to
Oh,
just give you
wow.
that overview.
Yes. So this is the museum you were talking about?
Yeah, that's it. In the old monastery. And
Yeah.
it's lovely. It's very quirky. But it's a lovely, gentle way just to spend a little bit of time. And it's a lovely town to walk away around. And anybody who loves markets, uh, Tsetsaleg or Arhangai has a really good market.
Oh,
If you like materials, anybody who likes to buy materials,
you mean
then
like
this
fabric,
is, yeah,
textile?
fabric. That's it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
good.
But yeah, it's just a chance just to experience a different part of Mongolian life.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So
There's a
this is the
hotel.
that's the hotel. So we will be in a modern
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah. Very nice beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then so tell us about yaks and their place in the
So
in culture.
Mongolia has the herders. So in often in uh, outside of Mongolia, we call them nomads, but Mongolians call themselves herders uh, with animals. That's what it translates as, and they can have what they call their five snouts. So that's sheep and goats; those are the main animals, and then horses, cattle, and camels,
Mm.
depending on where they live within Mongolia. And so some families will have cattle and some will have yaks. And yaks are just in certain locations where there's a higher altitude. And so the Hangai is one of Mongolia's.
Oops. God. Well, we lost her. Hold on. She told me her internet was bad. She'll come back on. But so yes, yaks. The chance to be with yaks. I've met yaks before. They're pretty cool. Let me hope she's back on soon. Very interesting, yes?
Very. Yes.
Isn't it really cool? So
I
I
do
know
have
that,
one question, Jeannie.
yes.
Um, if some of us are interested in coming early to experience the festival
Oh,
part,
Yep,
sorry about that.
that's okay. She's going to have a question. We'll hold that question.
okay.
Yeah, but that I know that's a good question. So you're talking about yaks. So we will
Yeah.
see the yak herders though, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you're going to what this is again why we chose this particular route, so that you get to spend time with the Galbadrakiak family. So you will see how they herd, you will try the different dairy products that they produce, and you will just experience their way of life with them in a very natural way. Before you then go on to the hot springs.
The hot springs. So these look just charming. Tell us a little bit about the hot springs here.
So there aren't that many hot springs within Mongolia, and they do them slightly differently here. So it's just one hot spring, and they feed off that hot spring, and each camp has its own pool fed from the hot spring. So you're not actually in the hot spring itself, you're in a pool belonging to the camp. The hot spring is too hot to sit in. So they basically filter the hot spring water and mix it with cooler water. And we choose the camp that you're, so this will be the other location where you don't have ensuite facilities. But the reason we choose this camp is because the pools themselves are charming. They really are. This is quite a sort of popular, very popular area. And although there's one camp with ensuite, we choose here just because of the location, because of the springs, the pools themselves, and it's beautiful. You can be in these pools, and even if it's a chill day, you're warm in the pools, and you can see you're surrounded by this mountain forest steppe, and you'll have birds of prey flying overhead. It's just a lovely way just to decompress after a couple of traveling days. There's not a lot else to do here. It really, really is about just enjoying the location and just being in the hot, reading your book. And this is the little bit of vacation time you get on this trip.
You're meaning you're not busy with activities
Yeah,
and so forth.
yeah, yeah,
And this represents one of the rooms.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So this is quite an indication of what to expect from a Ger camp Ger. They're all slightly different depending on the age of the camp, but you have essentially it would be two beds in a Ger with a central stove. The stove probably won't be lit in July, but if it is a cold night, the camp team will always light the stove, so you don't need to worry about that. And then there's always some furniture, and if it is en suite, then you'll have the bathroom connected to the Ger as well. So there's every night you're in essentially what is a traditional Mongolian Ger. But what's lovely is that to counterbalance this, you will actually get to spend time in a family Ger as well. So you'll see the difference between them.
That's interesting. Good. And here's some of that same
Yeah,
place that will be, but some of the hot water in the area.
yeah. And what you have is in the top right, the picture with the what looks like just a witch's hat. That's called an or, and that's a sacred shrine. And these are everywhere in Mongolia. And most of them are made of rocks, stones. This one is wood because it's in a forested area. And they're designed to bless the spirits of the area and the eternal blue sky. So that's what Mongolia is known as, the land of the eternal blue sky. We can't guarantee you'll always have blue sky, but you will always come across these owas throughout the entire trip.
Beautiful. Ooh, this is beautiful.
Yes, so this is Erdenzu Monastery. So you're actually going to visit, when you're in Ulaanbaatar at the start, which is the capital city, you're going to visit Mongolia's principal monastery. So that's its main monastery. Mongolia is a Buddhist country, and they still operate with through the lunar calendar, and the monks at the monastery in Ulaanbaatar make the annual lunar calendar. And then this monastery in Hahorin, this is Mongolia's oldest monastery.
Mm.
And it's still operational, like the one in Ulaanbaatar. The other ones that you will visit are like the one in Setsaleg has become a museum, and the smaller one at Hoggenhan, there is a caretaker, but it's not open on a. It's not open for sort of ceremonies. But this one is operational. You'll see the monks coming and going. And you will arrange for everybody on the trip to have a blessing here as well.
Mm.
A lot of it was destroyed in the 1930s, but what remains is it's not just about visiting the monastery. You can just sit as well on a bench, and you can look at the buildings, and you can just sit under this, Mongolia's blue sky. It's it's another area just to be.
Mm. Beautiful.
And this is the next slide. So all of this is located in Hahurin. And Hahurin, Mongolia has a few UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And one of them is the Orkhon River Valley, which includes Hahurin. And Hahurin is a town, but it was the ancient capital of the Mongol Empire. Because they were nomadic, there is nothing left from that time. But now it's very much a Soviet town. So you might, when you first see it, say, why on earth have you brought us to this windswept, dusty town? But in it, you have Erdenzu Monastery, so the monastery you just saw, and you have Hahorin Museum, which is one of the best museums in the country, all about the history of the area under the Mongol Empire. And then you have this fantastic experience on the right, which is the calligraphy center, set up by one of Mongolia's top calligraphy artists. And he chose Hahorin because he wanted there to be a cultural aspect in the town for younger Mongolian who live there, so they don't lose touch with sort of their culture and tradition. So it's a lovely. You'll get time in the museum, you'll get time at the monastery, you'll get time in the calligraphy centre, and then there's lots of other things to do in and amongst the town as well. And the accommodation here
Let's see if I have it.
is yes. This is your reward.
Yeah.
This is one of the most newest camps in Mongolia, run by a company, a Mongolian company, who really know what they're doing, and ensuite gears. And the building on the left is where you have your dinners, and then the gears themselves are set up so they're spacious, they're modern, comfortable, and ensuite.
Yes. I see the bathroom door there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Um, yes, you were talking about the Orkhon Valley.
Yeah. And so this view is in the itinerary. You will get to meet another one of our families, and this is their home. So this is the view from looking down onto their home, and then the river is just behind them.
Mm.
And it's a very short drive from Ahorn, but so you'll have the contrast of the town itself. This family have lived in this area all their lives. They went to school in Hahorin as children, and now this is their summer pasture. They move 3-4 times a year, but this is where you will visit. So this will be the view that you will experience.
Mm.
We'll keep fingers crossed for that sky as well.
Yes, yes.
And you can see this is again very, very typical scenery. So that green, deep green with the big skies, that's the Orkhon Valley. And elsewhere in Mongolia, but definitely, really that defines the Orkhon Valley.
And look at that, the river and how deep it's
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it,
yeah. So a lot of Mongolia is volcanic. And and a lot of the river valleys are deeply eroded as well. So there's a lot of, if you have anybody who likes geo, the problem with Mongolia though is its size. So you need to always rely on the vehicle. But we really tried that. Some journeys are short; they're just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and others are longer. But it's the only way really to get an idea of Mongolia's diversity.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, you'll get a taste for all of this.
Beautiful. and then we returned. This is a amusement park.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite places in the capital.
Wow.
So on your at the start of the trip, you have the cultural show. There are quite a
Mhm.
few in Ulaanbaatar, and so depending on the schedule, you'll get to see one of them. But what we try and do, if as long as it's the schedule works, is take you to the one that's in this amusement park. So this is just a short walk south from the main square in Ulaanbaatar. The Mongolians just reduce it down to UB. So if you hear UB or see UB written anywhere, it means Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital
Okay.
city.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and then this is the children's park. And so you have the Ferris wheel, and then this is a castle on a small boating lake. And
Oh,
this is where our favorite cultural show takes place that you will
what
experience on the trip.
wonderful. And I guess, and we will have a farewell dinner, of course, we always do, but what what distinguishes Mongolian food?
Good question. Meat. So Mongolia is still very much a nomadic society or a herding society, and they live on meat and dairy. So anything that is a product of their animals. But so anybody that is looking at this and thinking, well, I have to eat limited carbohydrates, or I can't eat meat, or don't panic, because the team and together with the camps, they can provide. So if you do have dietary restrictions, I would say ask prior to booking, just tell us what they are if you're worried at all, and we can go through what you will expect. But anybody who is open to trying new cuisine, Mongolian food is very simply made. You'll get a taste of this when you visit the two families, just how versatile Mongolian food is and just how remarkable it is, because it's all basically cooked on one single stove. That's it. They don't have access to anything else. And so what you have here on the right is a Mongolian barbecue, and that's you will be having a barbecue during the trip. And then on the bottom left, you have dumplings. We can do veggie versions of those without any problem at all. And then at the top is sort of what Mongolians would call like a meat feast. Um, and then there's always milk tea,
Ah,
um, slightly salted and made from green tea. But again, if anybody has allergy to or a restriction on dairy, just feel free to get in touch before you book, and we can go through what you can expect. It's no problem at all.
fabulous. And I just have this here just because I think we've addressed some of this already, but just that whole sense of, and we write it in our brochure. This isn't we rate this at 4.5 out of 5, and it's mainly because it's it's an adventure trip. So, I mean, if you're coming and expecting all the best Western amenities, you'll not be happy. I don't think it's really for somebody who really wants to see a pristine environment that has remained the same for all these generations. It's obviously touched some by modern life, but not the way we've experienced it at all. So that, and I think you just keep saying, the flexibility is important. And I think that if you come on this trip, just come with the right spirit of, you're going to experience things you could never experience anywhere else, but you might not have everything you're used to in your own home or your other travels. But that does should not, if you come with that mindset, it shouldn't take away from the fabulous adventure that awaits. Did I say that right, Jess?
Exactly that. And you will, it's the sort of trip where you'll probably need another holiday at the end of it. Also the sort of trip whereby when you come back to the capital city at the end, you're going to feel quite tired probably. But it's also the sort of trip that once you've come home and you've had your favourite coffee and you've stroked the cat and you've slept in your memory foam mattress and you've, done all the things that you do on a daily basis, it will start then to impact you. And you'll think, goodness, what a country, because it's the space. There are limited fences. So you just get these herds of semi-wild horses just roaming the steppe. You get Mongolians they just open their ger door to you and welcome you in for, the few hours you're with them. So Mongolians have very much a belief that you create your own energy. And so the more somebody struggles on a journey and says, well, this is this, and this is this, and this is this, then you're creating a negative energy, and that just impacts more and more. But if you can embrace the odd challenge and the odd frustration and the odd irritation, then that will create a more positive energy, and then you will be rewarded.
I believe
So
that.
very much part of modern Mongolia.
Yes, I believe that on any trip. I mean, when you approach it, but you have to be especially prepared for in this situation, I think. But what a reward! I mean, what a reward to be able to I just got chills looking at this is one of my favorite pictures. And we will have a chance to do some horseback riding, I think, as an option. There's one place.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So the Orkhon is a really good location. We only really recommend it if for people who have been on horseback before, just
Yeah.
because the horses aren't stabled. But we can, again, if you've got any questions about that, you can just ask us prior to booking. It's no problem at all.
Okay, and I just some other pictures I really love and this picture, I just love that picture. And this one, imagine the stars in that
Yeah.
sky. It
And
just
that's the way we say, see, that's a good reason not to have an ensuite gear, because otherwise you won't get up to see that, because of course summer, the nights or the days are quite long. So sometimes you're still going to bed when there's daylight in the sky. But if you have an ensuite gear, then of course you just use the bathroom in the gear and you don't get up. But by having to get up in the night, that's when you see the stars.
that's
And the night skies really are like that. It is incredible. Yeah.
gosh. And just one question, what's the altitude we're talking about in most
UB is around 1,300 meters, and then throughout the trip, around 1,300 up to around 2,000.
I'll translate that as we talk.
Yeah.
But I know now we can answer questions. Dana, you were starting to ask a question.
Yes, I wanted to know if somebody were interested in coming in, it looks like maybe a week or 10 days early. Would it be easy to come in time to enjoy the festival and then maybe do some other things before joining up on the 25th for the start of the trip?
Yeah, you could do that. You could go and visit Western Mongolia or the Gobi. Another option is the festival. So it's called Nadam, and you have the state Nadam, which is fixed date, July 11th and 12th. That's always the only. All other Nadam throughout the rest of the country, it's set by the town or by the province. They're not set dates; they change each year. But what I would probably suggest is we usually know in advance the dates of some of the provincial Nadams. So if you feel that you might get a bit overwhelmed with Nadam in the capital city, only because it is very busy, then we can arrange for you to visit or experience one of the provincial ones instead. So there's lots of flexibility.
What basically, I haven't Googled it yet, but what is the gist? What happens? What would you expect to see in one of the smaller town
So
festivals?
Nadam it's three manly sports: horse racing, archery. I forgot one. Wrestling.
Oh, kind of
Uh,
like Highland Games. Yes.
yeah. And it's not necessarily Mongolia's oldest festival, but it's it is one of its oldest. And uh, it's not just the festival itself; it's a 10-day public holiday. So it's when Mongolians go. So if you can imagine, as a Mongolian, if you grow up in Ulaanbaatar, which is one of the most congested cities in the world, one of the most polluted cities in the world, and you get a 10-day public holiday, what are you going to do? You're going to head to the
Leave.
countryside. Yeah. So what you have is the Mongolians who can't leave the city because they're working or whatever reason, they all head to the festival, and then anybody who wants to can leave will head to the countryside. So it's just mayhem everywhere. So, but Mongolians on holiday are great fun. So again, it's another attitude thing. But it's also as well as a festival, so as well as a public holiday and a lot of fun, is actually one of Mongolia's top sporting events. So this is when this would be similar to the Mongolian Olympics. That's how seriously it's taken.
Wow.
So Mongolia's top archers, top wrestlers, and top horses. So the horses are all raced with child jockeys.
Oh,
Because it's the horse. It's all about the horse, you see. Essentially, the jockey just sits on it. But anybody who, if anybody doesn't like crowds or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're open to embracing sort of a little bit of, yeah, quite a lot of people, a lot of movement, a lot of noise, then Nadam is a wonderful experience. But if you would like any details, then you can just get in touch with Jeannie and I can answer any questions. It's no problem.
great.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you. That's
you.
wonderful. And any other questions? Well, on every trip preview, we do a drawing to see somebody gets $400 off the trip if they book within the next week. That's how there's a little bit of room on that, but anyway.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. So, I've got in here some of these the names and Alicia. Am I saying that right?
It's Alicia. It's fine.
Alicia. Okay.
Thank you.
So if you are interested, obviously if you have questions, I mean this is it's a big trip, but it's exotic. We are doing it we do a trip to Nepal in November, but that's very high altitude. It's a hiking.
I've been to Nepal.
Oh, you have. But what I'm saying is this
Yeah.
is exotic as well, but without the really high altitudes. I checked the altitude when she said
Right.
it's between 4,200 to 6,500 feet high
Yeah.
in elevation, which is, that's around some Denver air,
Yeah.
kind of in there. So I just wanted to address that, but also it's again, as we're saying, it's not necessarily you don't have to do anything that you don't want. If you want to hike, you can. Um, if you don't want, there's plenty of time for relaxing and enjoying the scenery. So, um, anyway, I hope you'll consider
I will.
and Jess, you were wonderful to come on. I know it's late. We wanted to do this early so you can get to sleep because she has to be up early because her people in Mongolia, she has to talk to them, so we couldn't keep her up too late. So we changed it for the time for her. So thank you so much, Jess, and for giving us such insight into the country. It's
Yeah,
really wonderful.
welcome. And I'm always available. So any questions, send them to Jeannie. And also, if you'd like to have another call, you know,
I think
Yeah, I'm always, I make myself available, so it's no problem at all.
yes, you're wonderful. And your love of the country is very, very evident. So
Yeah,
we love that.
it is very, very special. It is a very, very special destination. Not always easy, not always easy, but a very special destination. You'll see what I mean for those who choose to come. Yeah,
Well,
and the photos that you saw, they all represent Mongolia as you will experience it. So yes, there are challenges, but those weren't, photoshopped, or that's actually how it does look as well. The only thing we didn't mention, which you probably should be aware of, is there's a lot of rubbish. That's all. But that's just because size of the country, lack of infrastructure, it's something they're still managing and learning how to deal with. But otherwise, that huge space, that big sky, that big horizon, it's calling you.
well, I also appreciate your honesty. We want people to come who really understand that and not be disappointed. So they come and they understand what they'll see and what they'll do and what they might encounter. So then they can really enjoy those special parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to meet you all.
All
And
right.
anything you need, just get in touch.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Take care.
See you